modification means taking the gene from one species and putting it into the gene of another species. The very first thing that was ever done in this country, and it was for the flavor savor tomato, was they put an Arctic cod gene in a tomato to make it withstand colder temperatures during shipping. So the reason that these might not be the best for us is because once you put them into the environment, you can't get them back. And there has been so little testing in our country for these things that it is a potential health concern. And we have definitely genetically modified all sorts of our food, so our food is not having the same reaction in our body. It's more deficient in vitamins and minerals than it ever has been. And I think also in our environment, just the toxicity in our environment, coupled with the changes in our food, have just caused reactions in the body and lessened our ability to deal with that. Is mostly what I've read and I've found personally. So,
Natasha?
Yeah.
I would just like you, if you can, touch briefly on why milk and dairy products actually cause osteoporosis rather than the misconception that they have to have milk with very healthy bones. Sure. Why does it cause osteoporosis?
Well, and you can add to this too, because I know you've done a lot of reading too. So I will give the basic, and then you can jump right in, Terry Lee. When it comes to meat and dairy products in the body, how many of you have heard recently where it's the big thing of, is your body alkaline or is your body acidic? There's a lot of out there right now, and people will say, is your blood acidic or is your blood alkaline? No such thing. Don't listen to them. Your body itself wants to maintain an alkaline balance. And your body will not allow itself to get out of that balance. So what it does is it neutralizes acidic food. Meat and dairy products are incredibly high in acid. They're acid forming. They're not necessarily acid when they're outside your body, but when you take them in, they cause your system to be acidic. So your body goes, uh-oh, we need to maintain alkalinity, we need to go in for the kill. And so what they do is they actually take calcium and other things out of your bones and other systems to neutralize the effects of the meat and dairy on your body. So your blood isn't actually acidic or alkaline, it's your whole system. And so that's what it's doing, is it's actually, you drink that milk and your body's going, ooh, okay, we need to neutralize this. So it's sucking the calcium out and then it's just going right out of your body. So I don't know if you want to add to that at all.
I just read recently, I can't remember who, I think it was Dr. McDougall that said, if you want to hold to the myth that you have to drink milk for your bone health, he said you're literally peeing your bones into the toilet. I just thought
that's very, that's what I Are you a nurse?
No, but I have the water and I know about alkalinity and all that kind of stuff, and I know that cancer cells will die if you raise the pH above 7.5 and all of that kind of stuff. And I know that if you drink one can of pop with a pH of 5.5, you need to drink 32 glasses of water with a high pH to get rid of that acid from that can of pop. And I know that in 1930, Dr. Oliver Warburg found out that cancer was anaerobic and all of this kind of stuff. And he won 2 Nobel Prizes in medicine for that, but that's all been squashed, and nobody knows anything about maintaining a high pH balance.
Look at this. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine shall be thy food. It's right where you walk in, it's right here. We've known this for thousands and thousands of years, but over time we've gotten away from it. Another thing about milk, if you want to, I have a cartoon and I should have brought it. It is a cow, a milk cow, with her udders full, and it has a businessman in a business suit on all fours suckling on one of the teats of this cow. And that's really what we're doing. We're the only species on Earth that drinks milk from another mammal, and we're the only species on Earth that drinks milk past infancy. If you are drinking a substance that takes a calf that might be yay big and raises it to over a 600-pound or even a 1,000-pound animal in a year, and you think you're not going to have bad health effects or gain weight from it, you're crazy. Because that was designed for the cow. A calf is supposed to drink cow milk, and we are supposed to drink our mother's milk. And if you look at breast milk from a woman, the protein content is very minimal, very minimal. But for a cow, ooh, it's hot.
What about, I got some nice little goats, you know, I mean, I really love them, take good care of
Yep.
them, and what do you think of goat's milk that, we're not commercial, but it's.
We grew up on goat's milk.
Yeah, no, like.
Yeah, I milked a lot of goats in my day. The protein in goat's milk is smaller, so it's more easily digestible because some children who have allergies to cow milk can drink it, but it's the same thing. Yeah. Yep.
I love goats.
I love that. They're so cuddly. Yes.
I love rice milk.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm gonna eat that, I'd love to have a glass of it. But recently, I've heard in the news something about the arsenic
In rice.
in rice.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now.
Now what do you do?
Come on.
I think what you have to do is you have to weigh what are the benefits, and do I want the cholesterol? Do I want to contribute to
Oh, I
factor
would never go
bad?
back to milk. I mean, that's not an issue.
I don't think anything's ever going to be perfect, but what I try to do with things like rice milk, I take all the different kinds of milk, so oat milk, hemp milk, almond milk, rice milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, so there's all sorts of kinds of milks, and then I just rotate. So I'm not getting the rice milk every single day. I might have 2 or 3 different kinds during the week, so it kind of mitigates that exposure to it.
Do you know anything about whether it is, I mean, I've heard it's the sugar, the syrup that they make all of these little food bars.
Rice syrup.
Rice syrup.
Yep.
Rice syrup is not in the rice stream milk. So
Right.
I'm having a hard time, okay, should I just eliminate it?
Well, there's a website, and it's an organization, and I don't think I put it on here. It's called Cornucopia, the Cornucopia Institute. And what they are is they are a watchdog organization that looks at all these things, and what they do is they do scorecards when things like that come out, and they tell you the specific brands that contain the arsenic and the brands that don't. So if you visit that website, I'm pretty sure that one's okay. Yeah, but the rice syrups aren't. Like Lundberg is the largest maker of rice syrup in the country, and that was one of the ones that they were looking at, and was the processing of. So a lot of those are getting better.
Could you talk to the estrogen, soy, lithium, wheat, flax? I think that's
Not that I've read. I mean, maybe it is. Not that I've read. I've never had that question. She asked about flax and also soy as far as estrogen receptor positive for women who have breast cancer and other forms of cancer. When it comes to soy, here's something that's really, really fascinating. Soy is a bean. There are 2 beans in the whole world that contain fat. One of them is garbanzo beans, chickpeas, and the other one is soy. That's not a bad thing. It's good fat. They're wonderful. They taste great. Soybeans are something that people have eaten for centuries. But where it comes in with the problems with soy, it's the highly processed, mechanized, changed soy that's a problem in our bodies. Soybeans in general are hard to digest, but when it comes to things that contain soy, like even, they have some fake things, like fake hot dogs and fake lunch meats and things like that. There's something called soy protein isolate. Check it out in your cupboards. Soy protein isolate is something that's changed so much from the original soybean that it actually is cancer promoting. So a lot of these things, when they're talking about the dangers of soy, it's the modified soys that have been changed so much into a different form to make something that they're not. If it's just eating, I don't know if any of you have heard of edamame before. Edamame is soybeans that are left in the pod usually, and you steam them and you pop them out in your mouth. They're kind of big in the city and in bars and things like that as finger foods because you can soak them in salt water. But you can also buy edamame in the store. And you can buy soybeans. Think about those ones like soy nuts that you see and whatnot. That's not what they're talking about when it comes to soy. Now, me personally, I eat a minimal amount of soy. I don't avoid it like the plague. But the challenge here is, we talked about genetically modified organisms. The majority of soy is genetically modified. It is not the same that it used to be. So I would, if something contains soy, I avoid it unless it says organic soy. Because organic, what it means is that you cannot have genetically modified organisms in that soy or in that product. So I don't know if that answers your question. Minimal, minimal. And then when you're going to eat soy, miso is a great one. Miso is a soybean paste, and it's partially fermented, which means that it's already partially digested. So you can, as a person, digest it better. Another one is tempeh. Tempeh is really yummy. It's soybeans, but they're fermented soybeans, and it's in a patty. So you can actually cut them, and what you can do is marinate them in your favorite sauce overnight, and then bake them in the oven or fry them on the stove and use it as a sandwich, like for your meat in the sandwich. They're great. You can crumble tempeh and use it in goulash for the meat. So miso and then also tempeh are great, and then organic tofu. Oftentimes that's just made by a processing where it's like a pressure process, and then they add a few things, but that's okay too. Just don't eat blocks of it every day. And I haven't heard that about flax. I will look into that though. Yep. Any other questions? Hey, people are starving, I'm sure. So why don't we eat, and then I will stay here, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you. Door prizes, door prizes.
Yeah. Door prizes.
Yes.
And I do want to say a prayer before the meal.
You bet.
And, okay. Oh.
That's a good question. Homemade pita chips. Whole wheat pita pods.
Yep, Matt's Mary's recipe.
There's no whole wheat.
Where? Did I forget to put whole wheat?
Yeah, that's the pita pods.
I forgot the pita pockets? Oh, it contains pita pockets.
Okay, that's it.
Here, I'll go.
Okay, you drop.
I don't know, Fred.
We got it.
No cheating.
No cheating.
No cheating.
Number 4, 2, 4, 3, 3, 1.
Who gets it?
Every number is
It's the last one.
I was trying to draw wrong. Number 4, 2, 4, 3, 3, 3. I don't need that.
One more.
Four, 2, 4, 3, 4, 1.
Pick another one.
Oh, jeez, you're starting.
You got it? You got it?
No, but go pick another one. Pick another one. We already got Billy's out.
And all of you should share anyway. Once you're done, you can just rotate.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 0.
Me. Thank you, Ron.
What did you get, Johnny Syndrome?
Box
That
of
thing is
flaxseed.
heavy.
Just remember, Ron, to share.
Great.
I got that down to look it up.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay.
And lead us in a prayer?
I'm going to lead you in a prayer. I want to add one thing that I left out.
Oh, you figured that's good.
I was telling Natasha earlier. Some of you aren't sick. Hopefully a lot of you aren't sick. So why wait until you get sick like I did, right? My boss has told me, my boss is a physician, most of you know that. My boss has told me for 7 years, it is not a matter of if you have the big one, the heart attack. It's a matter of when. So that's been looming in front of me, that the inevitability of a heart attack is my future. Not to mention the amputation of limbs, blindness, and all of the things that go along with diabetes. If you have heart disease starting in your body, you can actually reverse